Good morning everyone and welcome to another RF Crypto video. Well, the markets are down by 3.5% since yesterday, but the good news is that it stayed afloat the $1 trillion mark, which is a great sign for now. In a bear market, with all the problems happening in the world, with all the issues relating to geopolitics in Eastern Europe, socioeconomic in the US, and just economic in the rest of the world with incredibly high inflation everywhere, seeing the price of cryptocurrency being stable and the global crypto market cap at above 1 trillion when about 3 weeks ago we saw it dip below 880 billion is not a bad sign. Bitcoin is down 3.2%, Ethereum down by 5.2% in the last 24 hours. However, Ethereum as a whole is up by 2.2% in the last 7 days, which, I mean, in terms of crypto, isn't that much. If we look at Bitcoin, it went in the opposite direction. It's down by 2.3%, but we can see these as correction. Maybe the market's overreacted because of something in the positive direction, and now it's seeing its way down to correct, because 2.3% isn't much for crypto and for such a risky asset. If we look at the charts, about 6-7 days ago, Bitcoin made its way up from 20,700 to a high of around 24,200, and people thought, oh, thank goodness, the bear market is over, the bull market is back. But I mean, not so quickly. People got overexcited, fear started to go down, and I mean, people were quite happy with the jump. However, we quickly saw the price of Bitcoin dropping, testing this $23,000 support level, going below it, going above it, going below it. It was a tug of war between the bulls and the bears here. But bears eventually won, and the price made its way down to the $22,000 support level. And now we are seeing a consolidation of the price at 22,000, the same way we saw it at 20,000 here. So I think the prices are seeing a new lower low, in the sense that here the lower low was 20,000 because it was trading around this price. However, now it's trading around 22,000, and I think it's going to stick here for the foreseeable future, because we have had a higher high here, and then the lower low here is the same as the higher high here. So we see a consolidation with some trading going on above these levels. I don't know how the market's going to move. It depends on the news, but there is a lot of positive sentiment at the moment due to the fact that the price has recovered quite quickly from, look here, it was down to 18,800. It went all the way up to 24,000. Good jump. So, in some news, Bitcoin traders in Argentina are restricted from buying dollars. And this shouldn't come much of a surprise due to the fact that Argentina for a few years now has been suffering from economic issues, especially inflation and the devaluation of its currency. So Argentina is restricting traders from buying US dollars at the official exchange rate in a bid to tame capital flight. Those who have bought Bitcoin or any other digital asset in the past 90 days with pesos will not be able to access the single free exchange market and buy dollars at the official rate. And the idea behind this is to stop money leaving the country. But I mean, it doesn't really make sense for them to stop this exchange, because if they can open an account with another exchange which is outside their jurisdiction, they can just transfer their Bitcoin or digital asset to that jurisdiction or to that account that's outside the jurisdiction and just sell it for dollars. So Argentina's center-left administration of President Alberto Fernandez is tightening currency controls and raising interest rates to get inflation under control. Argentina has one of the highest inflation rates in the world, actually the second highest in the world at 64%, just behind Venezuela, which has the highest inflation rate in the world. And I mean, they're now scared because of the inflation that's going around the rest of the world. Obviously, it has a runaway effect. It will affect the Argentinian economy. It will pump up inflation in Argentina as well, because fuel prices are rising, food prices are rising. So they're already facing inflation pressures. And inflationary pressures are building up even more, which could lead to runaway inflation, where we could see something like 100, 200, 300, 1000% inflation, which the Argentinian economy obviously doesn't want, because that would leave their currency worthless. And now, in order to avoid this, they're trying to retain as much foreign capital or US dollars in their economy as they can, So that's why they're restricting crypto traders from converting their crypto into dollars and those dollars leaving the economy. Because foreign reserves act as a buffer to the currency. When there's inflation, when there's devaluation, the central bank has these reserves and they can pump it up into the market in order to stabilize their currency. And if a lot of these reserves leave the economy, that leaves the central bank with less power to fight inflation and to fight devaluation. And I mean, crypto is already massive in Argentina, and because of its inflation rate, Bitcoin is arguably a better bet than the Argentinian peso, which is rapidly losing its value as a currency. And just imagine, let's say one Bitcoin is worth $20,000 and 100 pesos is worth $20. And then tomorrow, 100 pesos is suddenly worth $15 because of inflation. But tomorrow, one Bitcoin will still be $20,000. That means that while the Argentinian peso has lost its value and now 20 Argentinian pesos buys less goods and services, the same amounts in Bitcoin will still buy the same amounts of goods and services because it retained its value in terms of US dollars. And now a lot of people believe that Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation because the supply is limited at 21 million. And that is why a lot of Argentinians have opted to trade in cryptocurrency. They're ditching the Argentinian peso because they wake up in the morning, they say, you know what, the money that I have now doesn't buy nearly enough goods that it bought yesterday. But if I have crypto, I mean, the money is safe because the volatility in crypto is high, but it's not as high as the Argentinian peso. We see that Bitcoin's price drops by 20-30% and then recovers, but it doesn't drop by 60-70% and continues devaluing, which is the case for the Argentinian peso. So it is interesting to see how in a country with so much crypto adoption, now the president and its administration is fighting against free trading of crypto because they want to control inflation. They don't see any other tool at their disposal, so they're fighting against the one thing that is going for the people. And this policy is going against the people, unfortunately. So California ends ban on Bitcoin and other crypto donations to political campaigns. Legislators in the Golden States have voted to end the ban on crypto donations to state and municipal candidates, but they did it in a very responsible manner. And political campaigns must immediately convert any crypto donations into US dollars, and only payment processors registered with the US Department of Treasuries can be used. This is a fantastic way of letting political campaigns accept crypto because only those payment processors that have the correct controls in place and only those with enough liquidity will be accepted. Also, all state and local campaigns must have adequate KYC procedures that enable it to form a reasonable belief that it knows the true identity of each contributor, because crypto in itself is anonymous and we don't want any financing from dubious people, from people who are sanctioned, from criminals. So obviously KYC is very important, and people who donate to political campaigns must give their name, their address, and what their source of funds is, and this is fantastic. Bank of Central African States is probably going to introduce a common digital currency under the influence of its board of directors. So they could be closer to releasing a central bank digital currency in an effort to modernize payment structures and promote regional financial inclusion. We know that in the monetary union in Central and West Africa, things generally run well, but there are a lot of impediments and a lot of time delays, fees, and barriers to trade that lead to a loss of millions or even billions a year. So if they can introduce a CBDC, payments can be processed in an instant, they can be cheap, and there are less barriers because everything is transparent and in the blockchain. It will also help fight corruption, which is rampant. It will make things more transparent, and it will help not only the governments that are in the union, but the small traders that are the backbone of the economy, by giving them access to a tool that will allow them to trade in a more efficient and cost-effective manner. Remember that Central African Republic passed a legislation adopting Bitcoin as legal tender in the country in April, but has not recognized a central bank digital currency. But the Bank of Central African States also criticized the Central African Republic for accepting Bitcoin as legal tender, calling the move problematic and something that could have a substantial negative impact on the monetary union of Central Africa. I'm not really sure why this has happened. Maybe because instead of Bitcoin, they actually want a CBDC that they can actually control, because with Bitcoin, obviously they cannot control. We know that in Africa, there are some initiatives to get CBDCs on the ground running. For example, Nigeria has already launched a CBDC called the e-Naira in October 2021, and South Africa is very serious about launching one in 2023 through the Project Coca initiative. Following the adoption of Bitcoin, Central African Republic will adopt a crypto initiative called the Sango Project, which includes a legal crypto hub and a special economic zone in the metaverse. And Africa remains one of the fastest growing digital asset markets in the world, with crypto transactions going up over 2,670% year on year in 3 countries in West Africa. So Africa is very promising in terms of crypto adoption and crypto innovation. And I think that the future is very, very bright for crypto in Africa. And with that, we come to the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and share this video with your family and friends. Invest wisely, and cheers.